Letters from the front. Trooper J. Foy, the Castlemaine leader, the 8th of July 1902. A letter has been received from Trooper J. Foy of the 2nd ACH by a friend who has allowed us to peruse it. The letter is written under the heading Fontaine, May the 22nd, and from it we extract the following, quote, "We left Newcastle on the 13th of May and arrived at Ingogo the same evening. After campaigning there for a night, off we set for Majuba Hill, and after having dinner there we travelled to Charlton and camped there for 2 days. From there we went to Volksrust, entrained our horses and boarded for Fontaine. The journey occupied 2 days and 3 nights in anything but comfortable apartments. The task of detraining the horses was more troublesome than getting them into the trucks, the animals refusing to budge one way or another. We at last got the last of them out. This was at 9 p.m, and after the loss of 3 nights' sleep, I had to go to stable picket straight away for 24 hours, 2 hours on and 4 off. Next morning we marched out about 3 miles, and just my luck, I had again to go on outpost duty all that night. It's not the game it's cracked up to be, but I got to do it as I liked it. At about 10 o'clock a big native came across my beat. Assuming a little bravado for the time, I of course challenged him and pointed my rifle at him. This was quite enough for him. He didn't exactly turn pale, but he had a look in his face that made me think he was wondering whether he was likely to get away in one piece or act as a stopping point for an ounce or so of lead. To tell you the truth, I felt in almost as bad a fix as he did, and wondered whether I had just engaged out of the Mount Pelée crater for not paying my rent, for I hardly knew what to do with him. There he stood shaking like a leaf, rolling his eyes about nervously and every now and then opening his head and showing his ivory. He looked for all the world like 2 yards of coal standing on end. Being a greenhorn at this game, all manner of ways of dealing with him suggested themselves, but I at length decided to let him go, and made signs for him to that effect. Well, you would have taken a coronation fit if you saw that ace of spades doing a get. I would back him for all I had to lower the quarter-mile record by at least the usual time. Every second he would chance one eye to see if I was going to fire, for I believe that he every minute expected to get a bump, not in headquarters either. I believe he is running yet. He had a jolly narrow squeak, for once I thought, how do I know what tricks he's up to? Was only arrested from drilling a hole through him by the opportune thought that the poor beggar, who knew not a word of English, may have been innocent of any serious pretensions. I don't altogether dislike outpost duty, but it's quite possible to find a better form of amusement. I forgot to tell you that we passed through Lannesec. It was a tough job to get to the top, as in some places almost inaccessible, and in doing so we had to dismount. By the time the top was reached, we had another climbing for the one day. We were all out, and another job like this would have finished us. We suffered the loss of a terrible lot of horses. 100 of them had to be condemned, and are yet to be replaced. We expect to join the 1st ACH, and do not expect to be here much longer. Mr. H.W. Baker, the Mount Alexander Mail, the 17th of January 1900, a lecture on South Africa. Mr. H.W. Baker delivered a long and interesting lecture on South Africa in the Congregational Church last night. There was a fair attendance, even though the night was so warm. He was introduced by the Reverend Mr. Watts. Mr. Baker stated at the start that he was not a reverend, but was a missionary. He would be as impartial in his comments as he could be, seeing he had natural prejudices. He would like them to know if Great Britain was justified in going to war. In doing so, he would give them the facts and let them form their own conclusions. He was born in South Africa and learned his trade of carpenter in Natal. He passed his examinations in Dutch and passed on to become a solicitor. He knew President Kruger and saw him browbeat his legislature and made them pass laws he wanted. He knew General Joubert well and was almost a personal friend of his. It required a man of strong principle to hear the sudden good fortune of Kruger, rising from a farmer to be president of the Transvaal when there was but 12 and 6 in the treasury, until now when money was plentiful, he having a salary of £8,000 a year with prerequisites. Kruger believed he was divinely appointed to secure the independence of the Transvaal. General Joubert was a humane man and did not want to go to war. The Boers have always had a great objection to being taxed, but did not object to taxing others heavily. Mr. Baker sketched historically the trekking of the Boers to Natal, where the Dutch had equal rights in the British colony. The Orange Free State also granted equal rights, but in the Transvaal the difficulty for this was Kruger. From 1832 to 1899 the Boer oppressed all the blacks, whom they considered were descendants of Cain, an accursed race, without any right. The Boers hated the British for abolishing slavery. One of the best and most progressive men in the Transvaal lost his situation for voting for Joubert for president against Kruger, who forced the legislators to vote for him. Mr. Baker gave some instances of the cruelty of Boer farmers to the natives, whom they flogged ruthlessly. He also narrated several cases that came under his own notice as a solicitor, where gross injustice took place in the court. Although the Boers read the Bible daily, they did not bind themselves by its teachings. He told how a farmer and an official had taken their oaths on the Bible and perjured. Under British rule, the native races were protected, which was a source of hatred by the Boers. He gave many illustrations of the magnanimity of the British in requiring the government of the Transvaal to accord justice to those who had taken up abode in their country and had made it prosperous by the development of its mineral resources. During his narration, Mr. Baker was frequently applauded. A hearty vote of thanks was passed to him for his instructive lecture. Okay, we're in Charlton. I don't think I've ever been here. Seems a nice place. There's a real old-fashioned Rex Theatre down there, real retro Art Deco. Yeah. There's a Zen den that's opened. I'll have a quick look in her Zen den, but I can see the Boer War monument, and it is as they should be. None of this reworking of them, like Donald. That's a magnificent World War One cenotaph as well in the middle there, dominating the roundabout. But this is the one we're here for. This is the way they're supposed to be. This is terrific. Memory of the pioneer women of the Charlton district. CWA is a Country Women's Association for you people overseas. If you want a good scone, look for the CWA in Australia. Yeah, okay. Well, this is it. It's magnificent. Charlton District tribute to the memory of the Australian soldiers who gave their lives in the South African War for Queen and Empire, 1899 to 1902. Make sure you get to see that. No image there. Yeah, I like this. These are the ones I like, you know. Look at this, in memoriam of Trooper Robert A. Watson, the 5th Victorian Contingent, died at Middleburg, 6th of December 1900, aged 33. Trooper Alfred Borden, Thornycroft's mounted infantry. Remember over in Heathcote, Willie Dixon was with Thornycroft. He died at Colenso. But this is Waterval Bridge, the Transvaal, the 10th of August 1900, aged 27. Oh, now this is gorgeous. Look at these. Can you see them? We call them stink bugs. They sort of join at the bum. They destroyed the crops I tried growing when I first came to Reeds delayed, aspirations of growing, all sorts of stuff. And yeah, the stink bugs destroyed it. But anyway, so we'll get a photo of the memorial, and I'll read out a bit about it to you from the memorial website. Okay. The monument was originally a lamp post, which was later changed to a obelisk. It commemorates those who died in service or were killed in action during the South African Boer War. This is from the Bendigo Advertiser, the 16th of August 1902. Quote, "A large meeting was held in the Shire Hall on Wednesday evening to initiate a movement for raising funds to erect a memorial to the memory of the soldiers of this district who took part in the late South African War. The chair was occupied by Mr. G.H. Foreman, President of the Charlton branch of the ANA. On the motion of Mr. E. Bilton and Councillor Williams, it was unanimously agreed that a memorial be erected by public subscription in front of the Shire Hall to record the names of those who went to South Africa from this district in defence of their Queen and Empire. An executive committee of which Mr. G.H. Foreman is President, Mr. Hilton Secretary and Mr. Kelly Treasurer was elected to make the necessary arrangements to take up subscriptions and carry the matter through. At the request of the meeting, Mr. C. Phillips promised to repeat the concert recently given by the scholars of the Charlton State School, 2/3 of the proceeds being devoted to the fund and the balance to school. The offer was heartily accepted. A subscription list was handed round the meeting and a liberal amount was promised." There's a bit of a, there's a few other things. Let's have a little walk around. You've got nothing else to do. Then we'll head back to Vietnam. No, we'll head back to Bendigo, not Vietnam. There's a fella. Looks like there's a little museum open. Harold Elliott. I wonder if this is Pompey Elliott. The ducks of the school while, oh there he is, studying law at the university. Okay. He volunteered for the Boer War and proved to be a skilled and courageous soldier. Promoted a lieutenant. Awarded a DCM. After the Boer War, he set up a firm of solicitors and became a husband and father. During his period, he continued his involvement in the military, immersing himself in military law. Oh, yeah, this is a Boer War veteran. What did I say? Pompey Elliott. How did I know that? That looks like World War II kit he's got on. It's really nice. Oh, thanks, Pompey. You were over there in the fighting the Boer, Johnny Boer. He must have served in World War I as well. So the guide over there in South Africa recommended a book to me. It's called At War with Johnny Boer. I don't know why the Australians would have called them Johnny Boer. It would have been Yanni. Boer would have been more appropriate, but perhaps they didn't know that. It was too hard for them. It's the band pavilion. And that's the Mechanics Institute. I'll see if I might go in and show you guys the museum. We don't really do much of that, do we, on this channel? We concentrate on the Boer War monuments. Hence, we've only got 84 subscribers. But oh, look at this. Oh, let's see what they've got in here. Oh man, I don't have any change. Let's see what they got here. Alright. I need. I weigh my baggage for Qantas. I need something like this. Still got the old coin. I don't have $5 unfortunately, I've only got 50s. Oh, well, doesn't matter. So that's Charlton. As I said, I don't think I've ever been here. Maybe if I find something to buy, we might come back to the museum. It's only 12:30 in the afternoon. Wow.